Okay, once again, there's a lot to unpack. I often have a lot of people on that don't like each other. Somehow that has become the job, sometimes back to back. So let me put
It's not about not liking each other. It's about the truth and the integrity. I mean, how do you take things out of their mouth seriously when their entire life is fake?
Listen,
there's a difference.
David, there's something I'm going to put on the record that I don't even know if we've even talked about it, but I'm going to say it, and I'll say it on your show. One of the things that I think is unforgivable of what Peggy Salahian and his brother did to him is when his father was in the hospital dying, they didn't even let Paul know his father was dying so he could go in and say a final goodbye. No sibling has the right to take that away from another sibling.
You realize I was on the phone at the hospital, and you know what they said? You're not family.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And I was the first one to ask my brother, does Peggy know? Like, I want to call her and tell her.
Right.
And she gets on the phone and goes, you're not needed.
Yeah, she was
I'm
there.
like, excuse me, bitch? Seriously?
Pretty horrific.
I don't wish this on any family, but she's got children. And there's going to be a day when I sit back and I realize, wow, this is what you did. So...
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard to not say goodbye to a parent, you know?
Yes.
So that must have, like, how are you now with all of that?
I'm moving on.
You have Snow White, you have your husband. I mean,
I got you.
I was going to say, you have
Jeff.
me. I was going to say, you have me, you have Jeff, you have Cynthia Bailey, you have Kyle.
We have the other chumps.
You got the other chump.
The other Jeff Lewis chumps.
Well, you know, I know Josh Flagg, right?
Yeah. Josh Flagg used to come into the boutique all the time.
You know, I've known him
since
he was like 15.
Because he knew Josh Flagg's grandmother, Edith. Paul, she would come into the boutique all the time.
I actually saw him at the bank a month ago.
Did you ever do a dress for Edith?
No, she wouldn't dress like that at that point in her life. So
yeah.
But she came and said,
but hello, she was all the time.
She was so beautiful. And see, this is the elegant people that I've known that have shaped who we are. She came and said goodbye.
That was sad.
Before she left. And her departure. She came and she said, you know what, Paul? It's been great to know you. I just wanted to say final goodbyes. And I wanted to just let you know to stay true to who you are and stay on the course that you've been on. You're amazing.
I remember when Paul told me that. That was so cool.
I cried. I literally cried. And she just genuinely, and she only did that to very few individuals that meant something. And I used to drive Josh to her place. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like nice.
So she just knew that it was the end.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever, because I ask you say Nicole Kidman and Toni Collette. For me, my goal in life would be for you to, I don't think you've ever done either of these, would be Madonna and Cher. Have you ever done anything for Cher?
Oh, I'd love to.
Madonna, I actually did have an opportunity. I met her backstage when she was doing the tour, and I was going to be working with them, but then I couldn't leave to go on tour. Like, these people think that I got nothing to do and that I should just go hang out with them. I'm like, girl, I've got a store. Girl, I've got clients. Yeah. So but then, you're right. She is on my list.
He did do gowns for Beyonce and Cardi B. That was kind of cool.
Now, do you work with like a Beyonce or a Cardi B directly, or is it like at that level?
Well, of course, because you got to do the fitting, you got to do adjustments, but the stylists usually come in and they put the whole, layout of what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And you work with.
It just depends. Some come in directly. Some the stylists will come in and pull things. It just depends on what they're doing.
And then when it's time for the fitting, like the person themselves has to physically come in.
Yeah.
So like when a Beyonce physically comes for a fitting, how does that go down? Like what?
No, Beyonce doesn't come for a fitting. You go to her. And
I
don't mind going to her anyway.
Oh,
what was that like?
Amazing. It was very short because there's not enough time to be able to I'm considering what you've already put together is perfect, that you want to make sure for a final like look through. So
What about Cardi B?
oh, she's
That was stylists coming in, picking
Yeah.
things, then sending to her.
she
then
doesn't
pulling together.
sit still for more than 2 seconds. That one.
But I love her.
They did all the adjustments.
I still can't. I mean, so like, couldn't you just close the business for like a year and go on tour with Madonna? Like, just to
I
like,
would.
right?
Now I
Hello,
can.
I would.
I couldn't do that back then. I'm still. Listen. If I stopped sewing and if I stopped making things, there'd be a line of bitches outside coming after me. I could not have that happen.
Exactly.
I can't even take a day off. They'll be like, Paul, when's my dress gonna be ready? Paul, where are you at? Paul, we'll bring you dinner. I get deliveries of Tupperware of food. Here's leftovers. Sit.
As long as you sew.
Just shut up and sew.
I imagine going on tour with Madonna wouldn't be maybe the most relaxing time of your life. No shade to Madonna, but I think you would work for all of that. I would think.
Yeah, I would have
so.
never been with Patrik if I went on tour with Madonna. This would have never happened.
You would have been working night and day. What do you think of red carpets now? Like, where are the state, of red carpets? Like, is it back? I mean, have we moved past COVID? Is it still
They're starting to get back, but very slowly. Very slowly. I think probably by the end of this year, I think we just need one more year. I think 2022, they're going to slowly start coming. But I think next year is when things are really going to open up. We had a chance to do a gown for Kim Whitley for the NAACP Awards, and we were talking to her assistant, and she's like, "Oh, we want to save because Paul did a gown for her when we did the American Reality TV Awards." She was on the presenters when we won. So
she was actually the presenter that gave us the
award when we won the show for the show last year. And so we were going to do a gown, and then her assistant's like, "We want to save a Pol and Patrik gown for a live event because the NAACP is a virtual event, and they're going to do a Zoom again." So I think just the end of this year. I think next year we'll really start going back to live events.
So I'm hoping she was sitting there in her panties like I am right now.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you get all dressed up and you go from like your
Yes.
bedroom to your living room. Like,
Wait,
Well,
what are
we
you
did-
wearing? What are you wearing underneath right now?
shockingly, I have on sweatpants. Shockingly.
Wait,
But-
is it gray?
No, they're black. It just
Oh,
it
'cause
doesn't.
I was gonna
it
say, you know
doesn't
how
match.
TikTok, they're always wearing a gray sweatpants because you know what it does.
It doesn't match, but sometimes we don't have sweatpants
Exactly.
on, but that's just a whole nother story.
When he did a gown, he did 2 gowns for Cynthia Bailey. He did a gown for her for the HOPA Awards, and that was amazing. It was on stage, beautiful gown.
Oh yeah.
And then he did another gown for her for the Watch What Happens Live, this beautiful red gown. And then she was like, "I feel so bad." So she took the whole photos and did photo shoot because it was on Zoom. So you can only see it from her boobs up. So we're kind of, until the Zoom stuff kind of dies out, it's not that great for getting the gowns out and doing things like that.
I don't know. I almost want to stand up and show you my ass right now.
let's see if you have on. Oh wow, you really, you weren't lying. You really don't have on. I mean, you have on underwear, so that's.
But it's Melania silk.
Of course.
I was gonna say it's still fancy, so it's like that.
Of
counts.
course.
Would you expect anything less?
Do you see a difference between working with like Housewives and I've heard stories that the Housewives can be more demanding than like the Nicole Kidman, Beyonce's, Cardi B's.
I'll tell you the difference.
Not with us. I don't think with us.
It's not demanding. It's because they're not real celebrities. They're not used to understanding what the platform is. So they feel that they're going shopping. And in their mind, it's a little bit different than when you're dressing, an A-list
but we haven't had that problem.
No.
We just shot a magazine cover with Adrienne Maloof. They're doing a magazine where we're on the cover with Adrienne Maloof about best BFFs in Hollywood, which is going to be really fun. And we went to her estate. We shot it there. He put her in several gowns. And it was an amazing shoot.
Of course, because Adrienne's a beautiful friend of ours. I mean, it's different. The relationships that we have, I never get any, pushback on anything because they appreciate their respect and they understand. But I mean, just on your point of the question, I feel that
there's been some, not, a couple difficult ones.
Ooh.
Denise Richards.
Well, she's just yeah.
Why and how was Denise difficult, and what were you designing for?